seeing from him? Just, do you think it was something a little bit more mechanic that was missing, or just he wasn't in sync tonight?
I think tonight, I think he was being a little too fine. I do. I think he's got really good command, but I think tonight he was being a little too edgy for me.
When you have an inning that the pitch count gets really high, for him to be able just to go back out there to want to eat up some innings just to protect this team, obviously you know it's professional, but just what does it say specifically about him to want to go back out there?
No, it says a lot. Certainly, to be able to get into the fifth inning, given where the pitch count was where it's at, the walks, and so to be able to use two pitchers tonight certainly puts us in a good spot, for the weekend. But yeah, it just wasn't, as efficient as it needed to be tonight.
What was the command that seemed to be kind of like a recurring thing when Yoshi struggled over the last month? Do you look at all that as just kind of him being too fine lately, or are there other things you kind of?
I think so. I think so. And even the balls to the glove side versus right-hand hitters, or when you try to stick one in there versus the right-hand hitter to miss in, the split to be off. I just think that tonight he was just being too fine.
What was Webb doing well against you? What was the cutter, especially sort of against your lefties?
I think that Logan was doing what he does. He just kind of changes speeds. He doesn't give in. There's a cutter. There's a sweeper in there. The velocity was good tonight. He's a top end pitcher. So once he hit that grand slam, I thought it was going to be a tight game. And we might have been able to get to him, but I think once they hit the grand slam, then it just gave him a lot more margin right there, and he just was on the attack.
Being kind of a turnaround in a bad way for Yamamoto since it's kind of the 5 days rest. Think that's a factor at all?
I don't know. That's a fair question. I know we did it last year, and I think last year, which is our only kind of case point, and he threw well as I recall after that. He'll be on an extra the next time, but I don't know that answer.
Everyone's dealing with the same strike zone, obviously, but can trying to adjust to some of the calls that are being made impact the command at all?
I think in some sense, I do think that there were some balls that were in the strike zone that we didn't get, and that certainly flipped counts. But I think still, with that said, he still was too fine for me. But it could have impacted his IQ or what, but that's more of a question for him.
Does the too fine thing give you optimism that something he can correct kind of quickly and get back to where he was at the start of the year?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think the stuff is good. He feels good. I still believe the command's good. I think he was just kind of, again, being too fine. And so I think it's something that I don't even think it's correctable. I think it's correctable in the sense of I think it's just an intent part of it. So that's certainly encouraging. And it's not like the stuff was backing up at all.
And just going back to Yamamoto, a .90 ERA on the 6 days and a 4.46 with the 5 days. He's about 4 starts away from tying last year and 12 innings from tying his innings pitched. Do you change how you kind of manage him at all, just kind of knowing that it's about October for him and just kind of how you think he's going to workload?
I don't think so. I think that, he's our best pitcher right now. And, we're dropping guys in, we're having bullpen games, so he's got to take the baseball. We got to get to October. So I don't think there's any other way to kind of look at it. And I think we've done a very good job of trying to protect all of our pitchers, especially Yoshi in the last couple of years. But the adjustment period has already passed, and he's got to take the baseball. There's no other way to look at it.
Moving then to the rotation, do you think that Justin could be that potential length guy out of the bullpen, or do you see this?
We'll see. His last two have been very good out of the pen. He's certainly a starter, but for the role, what we need from him right now is to be efficient, and it seems like certainly out of the pen, the stuff is ticked up. He's been efficient. He's going after guys. So I don't know what sort of the next week looks like, but certainly the next few days he'll be offline, and then we'll kind of see where he is. But he came up big tonight. Last couple outings for sure. Thanks, guys.
Okay.